So, as many of you know, Space Marine 2 is coming out. Some people are already playing it. Okay, but it's supposed to drop on the 9th, right? And as this came out, it reminded me of a bunch of things. It reminded me of how cool Games Workshop can be, especially because they gave the first Space Marine game away for free through the Humble Bundle, which was awesome. And, some other things, but chief among the things that it reminded me of was the fact that I have only ever painted one Space Marine. And I thought, well, it's time to fix that. So, today I decided to paint Space Marine number 2. So the first Space Marine that I ever painted was this. It was my attempt at a Space Wolf, because at that time I thought they were the coolest faction around. I have now changed that, and my thoughts are that the Salamanders are the coolest. So that's what I'm going to paint today. And just to kind of get things started off, I just started painting it with a base coat of Kelly green, and that's just kind of in the apple barrel colors, just cheap paints, as you can see from this. If you've ever wondered what the difference between a good paint and a cheap paint is that this paint is a deep green, but in order to get it there, I literally had to put it on in 3 or 4 coats. And as you can see, I'm leaving it really light. The reason that I do that is because if you put it on thick, you're gonna be able to tell. It just looks different. And as you can see right here, this is a couple different coats. You can see some of the areas where the paint might have been a little bit thicker, but after a few coats, you can't tell so much anymore. And honestly, one of the things that I wish I had done a little differently when I started painting this was remember that I could pop the arms off, because it would have made things a lot easier at the beginning of the process. And I also wish that I would have started with painting the bottom layer, and what I mean by that is the stuff that's at the very closest to the skin, and which in this situation is kind of the black under armor that you can see in like the knee joints and around the torso and stuff. But after getting a nice good coat down of that base, I decided I was going to start with the golden edging on different parts of the unit that I thought would look really good in gold. I feel like the Salamanders are a really noble class of Space Marine. And so I thought, yeah, gold will be good. Does that mean something differently? Totally could mean something different. But for the sake of doing this, I thought, this is for fun. When I do my whole army of Salamanders at some point, will I change that? Yeah, probably. But I really liked how the gold came across in this. And that Turbo Dork metallics, they're fantastic. If you've never used them, I feel like they're great. They go on perfect, and they're just shiny and bright and amazing. And so I just went around and got all of the emblems and things like that I wanted to stick out. Something that I've noticed, especially with the Space Marines, is that when you're painting them, especially this arm piece, you can't really tell what that is, but when you come across the top of it, with that highlight, you can actually finally get to see what it looks like, and it looks really good. With the gun, honestly, I just decided to use that Turbo Dork silver and go over the gun as good as I can. Now, I want it to have nice, deep accents, but I'm not going to go through and do those right now. When I do a wash at the end, I'll let that wash fill in those cracks and crevices and make that gun look a little more war-torn than it does right now. For now, I just want it to look nice, metallic, something that would be used in battle, as well as the sword. I want it to have that nice silver on the chainsaw blades. And as you can tell right here, this is where I remembered that I could pop off the arms on the unit, which, like I said, makes it a lot easier to paint. And then just using a chestnut brown, I went in to make the gun holster, the leather bags on the back, and adding a little bit of white to that, I went through and I started doing accents on it to make them look like scratches or creases, wearing on the leather. And keep in mind, that first one I did was really big and really blotchy, but when you come through with that wash at the end, it'll darken it up to the point where, honestly, it still looks pretty good. So don't fret over stuff like that too much. Unless you're going to like a painting competition, something like this, it's not that big of a deal because, like I said, that wash at the end will go over. And honestly, I like to err on the side of too bright. And what I mean by that is when I'm going through and I'm adding these highlights to the armor, to the leather, whatever it may be, I would rather it be too bright than have it be too dark. Because when you come through with that wash, it's going to bring everything down a little bit anyway. And so I was just kind of enjoying this, going through, doing highlights here and there. Some of them are a little big. Those ones that are a little too big, I'll come back with my base coat and fix them. Make the lines a little smoother because in the end you can. Now, this is something that I absolutely love. I had never used inks. I bought my first bottle of white acrylic ink and I have been using it like crazy because it's so thin that it pools just where you want it to. It generally stays a little thinner in center areas like the eyes and stuff like that. And right here for these heat vents, I just point them all white, let it dry, and then you come back with a watered down color of whatever you want. Could be orange, it could be red, it could be anything that you want, and it looks like, light. As you can see from right there, the thrusters look great. And then, like I said, I'm going to hit everything with the wash and just kind of go over it. There's certain areas I'll try to avoid, like the eyes and things like that. I don't want to do too much on that because I like the glow effect that I have. And so I'll avoid some things, but for the most part, I'll hit everything. And in the end, this is kind of how it turned out. I think 1 year has made a big difference. What do you think? So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. I am definitely not the best painter out there, but I feel like over the last year, I have gotten a lot better. And I try to post out all the videos about things that I learn along the way, things that I feel like are helpful to people that are trying to become better painters, especially when they only have 10, 15 minutes a day that they can paint. So, if you like that content, please like, subscribe. We do a lot of things here. We are making our own game. We play other people's games. We talk about Warhammer, Warmachine, Infinity, Malifaux. We got a lot of stuff in the works. And we hope that you stick around. And if you enjoy this, we hope that you drop a comment down below. Let us know what you're looking forward to with Space Marine 2. Let us know if you think it's true to the Warhammer lore, which I could go either way, honestly. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. And I hope to see you next week when we post another video about all of the Malifaux stuff that was sent my way. So, as always, thank you for coming. And don't forget, don't spend so much time making your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.